Over to you, Father.
Thank you, Sanyupta. A very good evening to you, dear parents. Am I audible to you?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Yeah, thank you. A very good evening to you, respected parents, Mr. Anjan, Sister Josna, the Vice Principal, academic coordinators, teachers, parents, and all of you, my dear students. At the very outset, as we begin this parents' meeting, let me extend you all a sincere and hearty welcome. And this welcome is very, very special, more especially for the parents of class 11 who have joined our school. It is just maybe less than a month that you have become part of our school. Of course, the large number of the students are from SFS Narangi itself in class 11, but then there is around 30 to 40% of the parents who are new to SFS school. And dear parents of all the students, more especially of class 11, I take this opportunity to extend you all a sincere and hearty welcome. And I should tell you, this is not the way we used to welcome our parents in normal circumstances. But as all of you know, we are living in abnormal situations, abnormal circumstances, and therefore we have chosen this unnatural way, which I believe is going to become normal, to welcome each and every one of you. Dear parents, we are very proud to have every one of you, and your collaboration and support at every point of time is what has led us, motivated us, and guided us. And looking forward to the same and welcoming you all once again. I would like to sincerely thank every one of you. And dear parents, in our country, there is around 1.5 million schools. 1.5 million schools in our country. There is around 250 million students in our country, and around 21,000 CBSE schools as well in our country. And ever since the lockdown started, it is not only in our country, but globally, schools were shut, children were indoor, and every educational activity came to a halt for some time, except a very small part of the world wherein things happened natural and normal. But in 99% of the cases, everything was stalled and lockdown was imposed for quite some time, and things begin to be normal once again. But I should tell you, though it was a time of lockdown, though schools were closed physically, thanks to technology, educational activities happened as usual as possible, as natural as possible in lots of schools in our country. And SFS Narangi was no exception. And I should proudly reinforce what the academic coordinator Sanyukta Miss said, that we started the online classes as early as 26th March for the students of class 11 and 12, and on 17th April for the students of class 1 to 9. So from that perspective, I should tell you that our students have lost nothing, rather they have gained a lot. And it is very important that our students and parents, we take this time very, very seriously. Normally, if I should ask a question to the elders and the parents sitting here, I would like to get an answer, probably in your own mind. Is there a correlation between mark and life? Let me ask the question one more time. Is there a correlation between mark and life? And if the parents are to ask this question, I'm sure in 99% of the occasions, the answer will be a big no. there is no correlation between mark and life. Because probably you would have been toppers, you would have been rank holders when you were in the school days. You had a lot of dreams and aspirations when you were in the colleges and schools. But after doing life, after living life for around 20, 30 years, today you know that what you aspired is not what you have become. The mark that you got has probably no correlation with what you are today. Now, the question is, does it mean that since there is no correlation between mark and life, does it mean that we should stop studying? Definitely not. Though there is no correlation, we still know that mark has its own importance, exams have its own importance, and it is the mark and it is the exams that has helped us to reach thus far where we are today. As we were about to begin for the meeting today, I was just going to the Google, and one news that came out is this. In our country, ever since the education minister told yesterday that schools will commence again after August, immediately some students and maybe some other people, they started an online campaign telling, let there be no examination, promote everyone. Be it in graduation or post-graduation, be it at any level, let there be no examination, promote everyone. And of course, that is not a big deal. For a government, it is only a question of a decision. Promote everyone. There is nothing wrong in that, because we can say a lot of justifications. But all of us know that study at the end of the day is important. We are not studying for mark, but we are studying for knowledge. And knowledge should be what we are looking for. And as long as we have knowledge, the mark that we get, the positions that we hold, all those things are immaterial. Now, to the students of class 11 and 12, this is the message that I would like to give on this day. As we, class 11, begin the academic session, and class 12, you have almost reached halfway to your academic session. That mark is not everything in life, but mark has its own importance. Exams are not everything in life, but exams are important and very important. So dear parents, I'm sure I will have some more time to speak at the end of Mr. Anjan's session. Anjan Chowdhury is a person who is very close to SFS Narangi as well as other SFS schools. He is a versatile person. He can speak well, he can communicate effectively, he can make jokes, he can entertain anyone, and his talents are par excellence. And he has traveled across and trained a large number of people from across the spectrum. He has trained politicians, bureaucrats, police officers, IAS officers, teachers, professors, students, and he has traveled and visited practically every SFS schools and colleges here in Northeast India. And same is the case. He has visited us and trained our parents as well. So we are all familiar with the skill of this person. So Anjan, let me have the joy of welcoming you to SFS Narangi. And dear parents, let us all be ready to listen to Mr. Anjan. And now over to Anjan Chowdhury. Anjan? Anjan, are you there?
I'm there, Father. I'm looking at everything. Yeah. Am I audible, visible?
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes,
Internet is a big problem. And Father called me some 2 minutes prior to this meeting started saying that, Anjan, you're not visible. I was very scared. I'm very disciplined and abiding by Father's norms that I should always be on time. I logged in around 5-10 minutes prior, and Father said, is there a network issue? Now I have to confess, Father, I actually had switched off the data cable, data connection here, data connection, and henceforth I was out of the thing. I've put it all on. Now, good evening, everybody. Sangyukta ma'am, the wonderful coordinator that I have been meeting from the series of this parents workshop, and Father George, and the best teachers of SFS school, and whom I'm very, very close with. Once again, I get to see the handsome Sudeep sir there, Pavan Upadhyay sir there. That's what I could get through. And Sudeep sir, I'm very jealous because being a handsome maths teacher, I had the worst ones in my life. That's the reason I remained bad in mathematics. We have Sangeeta ma'am here. Sangeeta ma'am is a wonderful human being. I'm sure you have been in her classes or probably would be in her classes. She's a motherly, wonderful lady that remains at the apex of my wonderful choices of SFS Narangi schools. Now, parents, for the ones, this is the first thing I would want to speak to the group of parents who has joined new in the school. You have no idea how wonderful your world's experience of learning would be in this school because of the academic governance this school is running through. The school has armed and equipped the teachers not only in the proliferity of subject knowledge, authority, and the basic qualifications required, but additionally, these group of teachers are wonderfully equipped with handling the apex of the adolescent group of people you have sent to the school. Now, 11 and 12 is definitely a turning point, even in age, even in careers. And as rightly said by Father, democratic system of education's basic choice and basic choosing point has to be the mark sheets. I have never would want to emphasize on the glorification of the mark sheets, but that's one way how the trump card opens up for betterments and for other allied avenues. I want to become whatever in life, the basic has to be the mark sheet that is there. And the biggest problem in 11 and 12 would be the kids now turning to be young adults. Lot of identifications amongst them, lot of identity crisis amongst them, would have mood swings, would have huge amount of টোপনি যোৱা টেন্ডেন্সি মানে ৰাতিপুৱা 8টা বজাত 9টা বজাত 10টা বজাত কেতিয়াবা কেতিয়াবা 11টা বজাত উঠি পাব এই টেন্ডেন্সিটো এটা মানে সাংঘাতিক ভুক আৰু সাংঘাতিক টোপনিৰ এটা there will be a door which will come in front of you right now and you are like oat pour that's the thing but we will keep on doing but priority wise we would have to also check back the age factor that they have entered right now. When it is about the 11th and the 12th standard, I'm sure the students are there in front of me, the teachers are there in front of me, the parents are there in front of me. And while I speak addressing to the parents today, I address to you all people not as a trainer. I address to you all people as a parent, keeping in the highest priority of your child's development according to the comfortability levels too. There could be an issue that the child would not want to continue a particular subject. The child has taken up a wrong combination and zor zabardasti usi subject ko parana would not be very wise. Now the question would be, many parents would say to fir hum log kare kya? बच्चा का मन था साइंस पढ़ने का, हम लोगों ने साइंस में डाल दिया. बच्चा का मन था आर्ट्स पढ़ने का, हम लोगों ने आर्ट्स में डाल दिया. अभी हम लोग क्या करें? What should I do right now? So parents, the first thing I would want to address everybody, otherwise these would be an everlasting, long-lasting problems with your children. The first thing I would always advise children and advise parents at this present time of lockdown, when there are huge amount of extra time you will get because schools and academic institutions are not open. 11th and 12th standard needs to actually sit in for one skillometry class. Skillometric analysts are available in our town. That will take you hardly 300-400 rupees. Now, a skillometric test needs to be done by you to gauge and assess your child's ability to cope up with one particular stream. Streams could be art, science, and commerce. And the connectivity of these outcome and consequential livelihood in their career formation is immense, as in millions. A student studying science does not mean he has to become a doctor or a researcher or an engineer. There are other ways of survival too. Now, am I supposed to go through that area of taking up and picking up that particular subject is something we need to test back. If once a skilometry is done, the tensions that you go through, the anxiety and the frustrations you go through these 2 years, 11th and 12th, will a little minimize. You will realize where your child stands. Now, the reason of giving you this advice does not mean at all, like in this kilometric process, you understand that your child is made to study commerce, but accidentally he has landed up in science. The case is not that. The case is to understand and ascertain what kind of weightage and credit scores each and every paper has got, and what kind of time investment you need to put up according to the psychic condition of the child. So that is something we as parents would not know. Now, many of the parents in front of me would say, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, हम लोग का जमाने में ऐसा थोड़ी हुआ है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. हम लोग का जमाने में जैसा कुछ हुआ नहीं था, हम लोगों ने अपना जिंदगी में भयंकर भयंकर गलतियां भी किया. I meet parents and 95% of the parents actually says what Father George had said in the beginning. I have never become what I actually wanted to become in life. हमारा जमाने में कुछ ये नहीं था, कुछ वो नहीं था, and we have kept on evasing ourselves, putting up evasivity amongst ourselves, and we have bailed ourselves because there was no one to question. But now it's the turn of our children that we need to be very, very proactive about this. Otherwise, what will happen, the second phase where the child will enter right now is called a beautiful terminology that I have written several times in various newspapers, which is called professional infatuation. Your child will now suffer from professional infatuation. And professional infatuation is not as beautiful as it sounds. It's very dangerous. Professional infatuation means the child will keep on shifting his interest from places to places, professions to professions. The child will now not be into one focused goal. Now, professional infatuation either does not mean that the child does not have focused goals. The meaning is not that. Please do not get wrong vibes of my statements. Professional infatuation means at the age of 18, I want to become Shah Rukh Khan. And at the age of 20, I want to become Vijay Mallya. At the age of 21, I want to become the Reliance Ambanis. At the age of 23, I want to become an ace teacher, young and vibrant teacher like Pawan sir. And at the age of 24, I want to get some money from my parents and start up a startup business. And at the age of 27, I fail my business. I do nothing with that business. And again, I run from pillars to post with a job application letter in my hand. That should not be the fate and destiny of our children. Because most of the children, it's not that they are not well focused. As compared with your generation, or our generation, students of this generation are very, very aware and conscious. What we require is hand-holding. Now, this hand-holding has to be technically done. This hand-holding cannot happen in the form of providing them with the best of the coaching institutions, best of the teachers, the tuition teachers, best food, good lifestyle, air conditioning in their study table. It's not that we are putting a hand-holding upon. The hand-holding has to be very technically equipped, failing to which the child will keep suffering from professional infatuation. Now, the problem is, many of us, including perhaps you and I, also manage to have a job and we remain dissatisfied in that job and we don't like that job. But for survival strategies, to earn a livelihood and to earn money, we stick to that job. There are government jobs available. There are government jobs where people has worked in the government sector and says government jobs are like curses. I come from the family of bankers. My father was the chairman of a nationalized bank. My elder brother works in the State Bank of India, and getting a job, passing through the IBPS exams and getting a central government job or a bank job is like a lucrative thing to do. And everybody during my time also suggested me, why don't you study for IBPS things and why don't you get a bank job? It's such a secure job. It's such a wonderful, nice job. And today when I talk with my brothers in the bank who are posted in the best and the lucrative positions, they say, "Hotru ko ketio ami advice no koru jen bank ot sakuri kore. Iman letara sakuri, iman beya sakuri." But when we talk about packages, when we talk about financial packages, when we talk about security, it's immense. But when we talk about day-to-day life, they live for a livelihood, that is what they don't enjoy. Now that cannot happen, that a child earns money, has a secured livelihood, but he has never breathed his life. That is wrong. That is why, parents, we require that factor to be put at the apex before we go through. Now, a child scoring less amount of marks, the immediate reaction that happens from the parents of the families of the 11th and the 12th standard is to number kom kele ahile. Gote din netot thako, gote din mobile khusuri thako, gote din omuk kori thako, gote din tomuk kori thako. To noporo kele, to noporo kele. The problem is, parents, your involvement with the studies are also comparatively lesser, probably. Now, I have never meant to say you also start opening up books according, with them and sit back across the study table. My idea was to share, that was not that. But the problem is very true, that a coaching institute or a private tuition teacher was not enough a support that the child should have got. Our involvement with those particular subjects where the scores are lesser is again a thing to ascertain for. Hitu sabologa bostu. Next question, hetu ahibo ami kenekwake korim. Moi to najanu nohoy. Omuk subject to moi porham kenekwake. Moi najanu nohoy. Then friends, the demands of getting that higher number of 90, 95, 99 score is also under a question mark. Moi jodi nuaro mor demandu kintu thakibo na lage. Mor hobdobur is always liberal towards taking the side of the students. But the fact is true, the involvement of ours with the child's day-to-day development is the first priority that we need to think. Let us keep our hands on our hearts and tell us, lockdown opera aji tarik loi, have we actually followed a rigorous discipline routine back at home as we had done during the school days? Our children had been getting up and waking up of the bed at around 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. The moment you wake them up, they say, Aji school 9 of Iman Ratipa school or nutu. And we have agreed to that also. Bichara iman porise, 10 pass porise, iman kosto porise, e corona karane olop khuok jah, huta, no problem. You have not realized how you have broken the chain of the discipline. And when we talk about this word called discipline, it's not rocket science. It's not astrophysics. It's doing the same thing, same time, same thing every time and repeating the same thing. That too for one reason. And what is that reason? The reason is it will be imbibed in our system, in the constitution of ours. We have disconnected them. Now imagine when father was telling that education ministry had said by August schools will be over. And there was a campaign by all the bad category of students who said, NNA pass korai diok, nalage bina porikhat pass korim. You understand the quality which is going to come up. Supposedly an engineering or a medical student appearing for the final exams would say, Ami porikha nidiate pass kori bole dio. And father was right. It was only a matter of decision by the parent, by the government. And if the government decides, NA pass korai dim, you understand which doctor are you visiting next year. You understand who is going to build your house. Not even an earthquake, your building will shatter. So the quality is going to deteriorate. Father was absolutely right when he says, if it is about competency, it is about power. If there is lack of competency, there will has to be a campaign called NNA pass korai dio. Now that statistics are actually huge in number. And I'm sure the August presence in front of me in my audience do not belong to that statistics. We want our children to learn the hard way. We want our children to learn the specific way. Else, quality is definitely going to deteriorate. Now, many of the parents, my son also goes to a school, and many of the parents have said, class 3, class 2, class 1, 3, 4, 5, ebur class or porahuna nokorile iman dangor ki problem? NNA pass korai dile ki problem to hobo? Eko to problem nohoy. But teachers understand your child is in class 3 and without getting an assessment, evaluation, going through the process of class 3, will he be able to sit in class 4? Will he be able to accept the teacher's vocal quality in class 4? Because class 3, the teacher was softer. Class 4, the teacher is going to be much more harsh. Forget about who are the teachers going to class 11 and 12. They'll make your children's life miserable. But not like that. Sudeep sir is very good. Sangeeta ma'am is wonderful. They're not bad people. And Pawan Upadhyay sir is somebody I'm in love with. He's such a humble human being. But the problem is we will not be able to cope up. Now, once we are unable to cope up and we push our children to pass through a stage where assessments and evaluations are not there, it becomes an open market. It becomes an open market. It's not about competition. It's about competency. I hope you understand the difference between two words. Competition is like মোৰ neighbor বাচ্চাৰ পৰা মোৰ বাচ্চাৰ নম্বৰটো যেন বেছি আহে, মোৰ ৰিলেটিভৰ বাচ্চাৰ পৰা যেন মোৰ বাচ্চাৰ নম্বৰটো বেছি আহে, that is there. I'm talking about competencies. And while we talk about our competencies, we also are forgetting that our child had started reaching the apex of their adolescent stage also. Their age is also another concern. Many of the parents might think, perhaps they might as well not write in the platform here, who might not talk back in this platform. Many of the parents might think adolescence age we have also crossed through. We also know how adolescence is handled, but perhaps we don't know properly. Why? Because your adolescence did not have internets and Android mobile phones. Your children adolescence has got Android mobile phones. Your children adolescence has got one click in the Android and the whole world opens up in front of them. They don't have to ask you to do what and what not. They'll know everything and anything. Well, CBSE had started improvising the syllabuses from class 7 and class 8. We do well understand. Syllabuses complied in the process of adolescent stage and human reproduction. They understand biology of the adolescence. But what about the psychology? The biology, the physiology, and the psychological changes are blended together, and you have to cope it out. And we cannot blame our teachers, because our teachers in the school, they are not there to handle adolescence. They are there to finish one particular topic that they have been aligning through the lesson plans. That's there. But however, they get the torture of the adolescence, that is for sure. But how do we handle and tap it out? How do we handle and tap it out? Imagine your child, I still remember, I went down to one of the parents teachers meet in some school, and there was one principal who was addressing the parents, and one parent stood up and said, आप लोग ऐसा क्वेश्चन पेपर क्यों बनाते हैं जहां पे मेरा बच्चा फेल करता है? ऐसा क्वेश्चन पेपर बनाइए ना जहां पे मेरा बच्चा पास करेगा. क्वेश्चन पेपर बनाने का तरीका को चेंज कीजिए. So that was the advice from the parent. And I'm not talking about any kind of a school. I'm talking about coveted schools of our town. So we have thought processes like that. So dear parents, the initial ways of how handling was much more easier for your child. I think now it's going to be a little more difficult. And why it is difficult? Because of two things. One, the matrices of your children's, of your words, innate skills are not gauged and not mapped. And the second part is your expectation versus the children's competency and capability. What do I expect from my child, and how much and what my child is able to, according to his psychomotor skills, are two different dynamics. जहां पे आपका डिमांड जायज नहीं है, हमारा डिमांड ये होना चाहिए था कि जितना बस पड़ता है, जितना बन पड़ता है, उसको उभारेंगे कैसे? How do I brush up? How do I groom up? Rather than asking for only marks and percentage. I don't try to contradict with Father George at all that marks are not important. But one thing is for sure, to the expected desired levels, what should be our contribution as a parent? That's one thing. Now, today we are not talking of character formation, and we are not talking of psychomotor skill development only. We are also talking about the threshold of the career. After 12th, next what? And after 12th, next what would be what we need to make our children explain right now. Because 11th and 12th standard, they will have the best and the united and the cohesive group of friends. Friends for life. इतना भयंकर दोस्ती जिंदगी में किसी ने नहीं देखा होगा जितना भयंकर दोस्ती ये पीरियड में आएगा. You have forgotten one thing. ये दोस्ती का मतलब हुआ है that the peer inclination of emotions are higher as compared with the parents. मतलब पेरेंट्स को उतना विश्वास नहीं किया गया है जितना दोस्तों को विश्वास किया गया है. That's why they try to find that warmth that side. Now the parents has to intervene in between and find out what is happening there. Now this intervention has to be very technically done. It cannot be invasion of privacy. तुम्हारा दोस्त कहाँ है? रात को 9 बजे किसका फोन आया था? फोन आने से तुम छत पे जाके बात क्यों करता है? Not that. That is how the child feels attacked. तुम्हारा मोबाइल में कॉल लिस्ट जरा दिखाओ तो. See parents, I'll tell you one thing. You find 10 ways to catch hold of your child. The child will find 100 ways to skip in your hands out. आपका चंगुल से बचेगा कैसे उसका रास्ता उसको 1000 बार पता होगा. And the most important element from 11th and 12th, which will come, is they will start getting threats from you, because you are also under pressure. You are also under huge suppression of your child's performance. Acha hona hi padega, acha hona hi padega. So your reaction every time is perhaps not correct. In the process of your erroneous reaction, the child understands that I have to come out of this area. So what do? I start hiding things. मम्मी सिनेमा देखने जाऊं क्या? फिल्म देखने के लिए जाऊं? नहीं. दोस्त का घर में जाऊं? बिल्कुल नहीं. पिकनिक करूं? नहीं. वहां पे ये चीज करूं? नहीं. वो सामान चाहिए? नहीं. अब बच्चा को पता चलेगा, करूंगा, खाली तुमको पता नहीं चलेगा. वो रास्ता तो मैं निकालूंगा. अब जब उसको पकड़ में आया, तब आप उसका रैंडम धुलाई करना शुरू कर दिया. बिना बोले सिनेमा देखता है, रैंडम मारपीट. अब वो तीसरा तरीका और निकालेगा, वो कैसे किया, कुछ हरकत करना है. So that is why parents, the first part in the upbringing of an adolescent is please be a part of their life with empathetic confessions. Be empathetic once. Because मैं बड़ा नहीं हुआ, मैं कॉलेज नहीं गया, मैं पढ़ाई नहीं किया, नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं आता. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं आता. Your children are good, decent. You don't know how bad I was with my parents. My father said हम लोग 25-25, 30-30 किलोमीटर पैदल चल चल के जाके पढ़ाई करता था. मैंने कहा तुम्हारा पापा गरीब था, गाड़ी नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकता था, मैं क्या करूं? मेरा पापा ने कहा हमेशा I studied for 17 hours, 18 hours. मैं बोला तुम्हारा दिमाग अच्छा नहीं था. I can study for 3 hours and I can get good marks. So I used to fight and rebuttal that bad way. So our children are much more decent enough as compared with us. So the problem lies is this, that our children is not about getting outsmarted. It's about hand holding the way how it want to do. And children in the classrooms has become too very, very smart. I was just going through an FDP program some hours ago, and I shared the same information to them. I'll just narrate a small experience. Huh? So what happened was, a teacher went to a class. You understand, huh? You and I never did those things in our classrooms, what our children does. A teacher went inside a class and asked a child, how many kidneys do we have? The boy said 4 kidneys. The teacher said, idiot. Somebody go outside and get a bundle of grass. We have a donkey inside the classroom. The boy said, and bring a cup of coffee for me. You understand who the donkey was in the classroom. So the teacher was furious. And the teacher said, get out of the class. Now the child came back to the teacher and said, sir, you wanted to hear 2 kidneys, isn't it? So your question was wrong. You said, how many kidneys do we have? You and I makes we. So I said 4. If you wanted to hear 2 kidneys, you could have asked her, how many kidneys do you have? I would have answered 2 kidneys. Now you enjoy the grass. Thank you so much, sir. And he went out of the class. He desperately and time and again said that the teacher was donkey inside the classroom. Now the problem is, maximum to maximum, what is the principal going to do to this child? Suspend. How long? For a week. How does it matter to a child? Do you think an 11th standard and a 12th standard getting a suspension does anything to it? And do you think he's actually ashamed of the suspension? No. He's happy. And he says, अच्छा हुआ, संयुक्ता मैम का चंगुल से 1 हफ्ता के लिए छुटकारा मिला. Very good. And then next week, when he comes back to the school, he's equally good, the same way how he was. Teachers would say, shameless. And he would say, why should I be ashamed of these things? I had a compulsive vacation. You send me back at home for suspension. I never wanted to. So the problem with adolescence is that it is not the child who behaves it this way. It is us who has been unable to control the harness. Now, while you control the harness, that has to be very, very technically done. That's why the first idea to share with your people, parents, is about a discipline routine. The second thing which is very important for parents to build in at home at this level, because their studies are getting very, very crucial. They will have very less amount of study to sit back at home. It has to be an organizational way of how you make your family environment distraction free. The environment has to be distraction free. Right from the way of how you talk back at home with other family members, right from the number of guests who visits at odd hours in your place, whom I called as time stealers or time cheaters, these people has to be cut short of. Now, there are many parents who would say, गेस्ट घर में आएगा तो भगा देगा क्या? हाँ प्लीज भगा दीजिए, और फिर बोले मेरा बच्चा पढ़ाई करता है, अभी इस हालत में मत आया कीजिए, बिकॉज दोस गेस्ट वुड अगेन कम बैक टू यू आफ्टर सम डेज टाइम व्हेन द 10+2 रिजल्ट्स विल बी आउट, और आके बोलेगा आपका बच्चा को इतना कम मार्क्स मिल गया, वो कैसे? एंड देन यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू से आप ही आ जाता था बीच बीच में, और आप ही की वजह से मेरा बच्चा पढ़ाई नहीं कर पाता था. सो प्लीज बी केयरफुल अबाउट अ डिस्ट्रैक्शन फ्री एनवायरनमेंट. While you talk about a distraction-free environment, please understand also your child's learning competency. Your child's learning competency can happen in 3 peripherals, which is called VAK, V-A-K. Now that is on the basis of psychotherapy you will learn. V stands for visual learners. Now visual learners मतलब एक जमाना था ना, हम लोग जब बचपन में पढ़ाई करते थे जोर जोर से चिल्ला चिल्ला के पढ़ाई करते थे, আমি জুড়ে জুড়ে পড়িছিল, আজিকালি আমার পলি হতে জুড়ে জুড়ে পড়াশোনা নকরে. तो जोर जोर से पढ़ाई करने का तरीका क्या था? सेल्फ ऑडिबिलिटी कॉन्सेप्ट. यू स्पीक आउट, यू हियर योर ओन वॉइस एंड यू कीप ऑन रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग. मेमोरी बिकम्स स्ट्रॉन्गर. 70% of memory was high. Now your child belongs to what category we don't know. Now there could be your child who can just see the lines of the book and it could be imprinted memory on his mind. So that's what it can happen, which is called as visual learners. The second could be auditory learners. Auditory learners are the group of people who hears their teacher speak, explain, and the permanent impact remains here. That's why teachers work a lot on their vocal quality, voice modulation, appearance, pronunciations, translation of thoughts into speeches, everything the teacher does technically for the auditory learners. And they do it quite unintentionally, but that happens. The last is called a group of people who are kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic learners are a group of students who will actually learn by involving themselves in work. That is why every time they don't sit on the study table and not learning things, do not realize and do not understand and conclude that they are not studying. But the problem is, for the competition of getting a better admission for a higher education, this 12th standard has to be glorified. उसके लिए हम लोग को जो जो कुछ करना पड़ेगा वो हम करेंगे. शुरुआत has to be a skillometric time bifurcation back at home. What time the child wakes up, what time the child involves, what is the time that the child is involved in the breakfast, and what is what not. Parents, I'm sure you will have an observation right now. Class 7, 8, 9, 10 में जितना उसका challenges था पढ़ाई को लेके, खाना नहीं खाता था, lunch नहीं करता था, रात को dinner नहीं करता था, you will see these days they are not having that crisis. And it will again crop up when the school reopens because of the thrust of going down to the school and the school's hectic environment. Henceforth, we talk about the routine and the discipline factors of skillometry with special emphasis on food. Pet khali, dimag garam, hamesha rahega, and they'll not be able to retain. It is said that the power of retention and comprehension speaks a lot about the balanced and the nutritious food elements the child will have. Or if the child will also have a tendency for junk. The child will always have a tendency of aerated drinks. और हम लोग बोलेंगे junk food खाना मना है. Junk food बच्चा नहीं खाएगा तो आप और हम तो नहीं खाएंगे. मैं तो फिर भी खाता हूँ. मेरा size देखिए, how fat I am. Now this is not that reason that we wanted to speak our child that junk is to be avoided. It is equally important that once the junk happens, the exhaust should also happen. If the parents, please listen to me very carefully. I will have underlining statements here. मैं हर कोई चीज खोल के नहीं बोल पाऊंगा because हमारे सामने में बच्चा रहेगा. अगर फिजिकली हम बच्चा को टायर्ड नहीं कराएंगे, खेल कूद में, एक्सरसाइज में, उसका दिमाग का दायरा, उसका दिमाग का दौर कुछ और जगहों पे जाएगा, जो जगहों पे जाना अभी के लिए would be very हानिकारक. I hope you understand what I had wanted to say. So वो जगह से निकाल के आने के लिए the best part is physical exercises. Involvement. Physical exercises का वक्त नहीं मिला, that cannot happen. I've never said your child needs to go to a gym or a swimming class because of the school's itinerary, coaching classes itinerary, that will become very difficult. But at least before he studies in the bed, before he studies in the evenings at home, or before he goes to the bed, after the dinner, there has to be a minimum 20 minutes of walk. That walk can happen anywhere, anytime, any place. That needs to be done. But we have a problem of having the food at around 10, 10:30 and immediately go to bed. what happens to a child in adolescence is the comprehension ability comes under a question mark. He starts forgetting things. Why? Because there are other powerful elements, as in according to his age, which has cropped up, and the basics of what he has learned in schools or 5 minutes just before going to bed has been eradicated from the system. So that's the power of adolescence that we will go through. I have very less amount of time. Father will chase me out otherwise. Before this routine factor, please ensure that you do not make this disciplined routine. Let your child sit with you and you actually enhance these routines for him, including a reward system every week or every fortnight. Now, this reward system is not about an iPhone. The reward system is not about a bike. The reward system could be a food according to his own choice. It could be a dinner according to his own choice. And that is not in the restaurant. That is at home. Home cooked food is the best reward system that can comply with. It is never ever about a materialistic wealth that a child can get through from a parent. And the biggest part before I end is the blockbuster message I'll give you. Please remember, do not question your child on anything that you want to inquire about. Please use probing techniques. Probing techniques are also questions used in the most friendliest manner. Now, most of the time, dads are found to be very volatile. Dads are the villains of the family. And basically, moms has made them more villains. Papa ko bol dega. Deuta hile koi dim. Deuta hile koi dim. As if the Deuta is a Gabbar Singh. So you have to make that part very clear that both the parents needs to question a child, but not on questioning technique, on a probing manner. Let a friend talk. Let you as a friend talk to them. Let you as a guide talk to them and take out what is there in their large and the smallest intestines. And you will understand where the head is working through, because the child is dominated and intimidated by even a powerful thing than the brain, which is called mind. And mind is what? The child's assumption power. He's assuming the degree of his like and the degree of his dislike is all about his mindset. And that's the basis on which he reacts. I'm sure things are going to change and I'm sure things are going to work out. Bahut bohol bostu class 11 and class 12 or parents logot iman khini kotha koatu iman kom somoyot sombhob nohoy, but this much is what I would want to share with you all people. If possible, take care of your child, but in the most technical manner. But the biggest problem is we as parents are so obsessed with love, so obsessed with passion, that we even fail to understand that my child is also an individual. He also needs to breathe. He also needs to have his own independent decisions too. Henceforth, the most technical perspectives has to be harnessed and taken care of. I am hopeful that I'm very hopeful. I'm over optimistic. And to that over optimism, Father has put on some more additional drops. Day before yesterday, he said, pandemic will go away. And after some time, we'll also find out a vaccine. And we'll also forget these quarantine and lockdown periods. I totally agree that we are going to meet again very, very soon physically. Physical classrooms has got various things. Fathers pick up, fathers drop by the car. Sebastian drives me through the AC cars, the gamusas that I get, father's wonderful coffee, and the chocolate biscuits that Sister Josna always supplies me with. I have 2 biscuits and I steal 4 in my pocket and carry back home. That's such a wonderful thing I enjoy in SFS school. And I'm hopeful we will find those days again very soon. Till the time we meet again personally in the school premises, in the auditorium, I sincerely look forward for wonderful nurturing and parenting of your children. Please do not take offense of my words, which might seem to be harsh at a little point of time, because I also had spoken to you not to malign your reputation as a parent, but also as a parent, I thought these could be connective issues. Let's hope for the best that we meet again very soon with the vaccine or without the vaccine. But rest, I think we trust God, and that's how the best will happen to our children. Our children who has to take the responsibility of the future of the nation on which the responsibility lies. And we are making them powerful. The wonderful gamut of teachers, the beautiful Sangyukta ma'am, and Father, I believe, is a wonderful blend and combination of a superb academic governance your child will experience. I have been to SFS units in various places, and I know the vision and the mission of this kind of congregation. They speak only of teachers and children's development, and hence we see SFS Naring is under a golden phase under the aegis and the wonderful governance of Father George. Thank you so very much. God bless you all people. Over to Sangyukta ma'am.
A big thank you to Anjan sir once again for sparing some precious time to join us and making us aware once again the new parenting techniques and strategies that we must adopt. What struck me most is that the problems and the issues that you discussed today are very relevant, and I'm sure most parents can relate to them. I feel as parents and teachers, we should adopt a well-rounded perspective and be forward thinking and keep learning. That is the way forward, I feel. So on behalf of the entire SFS family, once again, sir, thank you for enlightening us over the last few days. And I hope that we'll have you back once the school reopens to meet physically.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Thank you for all your time. We are truly inspired by your great work and words. So over to you, Father.
Thank you, Sanyukta. Thank you, Sanyukta, and thank you, Anjan sir, for being present with us. And you know, parents, what I like about Anjan the most, because without asking him to promote our school, he does it. That is the most beautiful thing about him. And whenever he comes and wherever he goes, he does it freely. And there is nothing better that we can ask of him. And you know, Anjan was present for all the parents' meeting from the first that we started. We started with the class 1, then we had a class 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and today we have the last one, that is 11 and 12. And he was speaking from day 1, and every day he tried to change the topic because he knew more or less the parents are same. But every day he really spoke something different, and he really entertained all our parents. So Anjan, thank you so much. And I'm sure, as you said, with vaccine or without vaccine, something will happen by August, September, and I'm sure we will meet again. So thank you so much. Anjan, God bless you.
Thanks.
Okay, dear parents, so thank you so much for making yourself available. And you know, we know the custom how it happens in the schools. The first parents meeting, when children are in class 1, 100% parents will be present. Class 2 also they will be present. Class 3 they will be present. And then slowly by the time they reach class 4, class 5, class 6, the percentage will come down by 10%, 20%, 30%. And by the end of class 12, it will be around 20%. So, you know, that is, we don't feel bad about it because that is how the whole thing is. And there is nothing bad about it because probably when the children grow up, parents begin to think they have already grown up, and then even if you don't accompany them, it is fine. So in any case, I want to thank all of you parents for making yourself available, all the parents who are present. Your presence in this evening really inspiring. It gives us that sense of cooperation and support. So thank you so much, parents, for making yourself available. Now I have a question, and the question is simple. What time do your children get up in the morning? What time do your children get up in the morning? Now, you know, in a platform like this, if I put on the camera, if I put on the mic, I can hear all of you what will be the time that you would be saying. But then we have some kind of an experience. We know it for sure that in most cases, it is not before 8 o'clock. They really enjoy their time, sleep along, and then a late breakfast, and probably not having a lunch at all, and then a late dinner. Probably this is how this whole thing happens these days, because we are all under COVID-19. It has gripped the life of every one of us. It has unsettled us. It has unsettled the timing, unsettled the economy, unsettled the lives of the people, and that is what is going on. But then fortunately for today, 8th June, everything is opened one more time, except the schools and colleges and educational institutions. And, you know, to a certain extent, the religious, that the temples and the churches and the mosques, all the other things are almost opened up. And we hope that everything will be opened up in the days to come. Now, to the students and to the parents, I have a point to make. And the point is this, what Anjan said, that this corona will pass away. This COVID will pass away. And after a few months, we will have the examination. That is definite and sure. Whatever be the online campaign we do, how much ever students give their signature for this online campaign, be sure that at the end of February or in the early March next year, the board examination, CBSE examination will definitely happen. The only difference could be, probably there could be a bit of difference in the syllabus. It may not be as much as it was last year. Probably the board will bring down the syllabus by a bit, maybe 1 or 2 chapters, but then otherwise, all what we have been doing, it will all be taken care, and the board examination is sure to happen. So I request each and every one of you students and the parents, please take good care of your studies. Do not waste these days that you are getting. Rather, please use it as the best part of your time. And why it is so? It is the best because I know for years, even in our school, from the 1st November, students will come, especially students of class 12. Father, when are we going to get study leave? That will be, something which will be bothering them. Father, when are we going to get study leave? Because it is 1st November. And then I tell them, you will have your study leave maybe in the month of December. Then immediately comes the next one. Father, other schools are already getting study leave, so we should also get a study leave. Now, I should tell you, to every one of you, you are having a very long study leave from the month of March. Now, the day school reopens, be sure it is going to be full class. There will not be any doubt have no doubt about it. It is going to be full class, and probably even on the previous day of the examination, you will have your classes. That will be the way things will be happening. So I request every one of you, please use the time very seriously and effectively. You should not lose even 1 minute of the time that is at your disposal. Use it to the best of your ability and prepare well for your examination. That is going to be very important. Now, as I told you at the beginning, because of this lockdown, you have not lost anything. You have not lost even an inch of anything, whatever you are supposed to be getting. Because in our school, everything had been happening normally as it used to be. Syllabus, actually, we are a bit ahead of the time. Syllabus is happening as it is. Chapter tests are going on. PT examinations will happen. And then Dieselite Fiesta and other cultural activities are going on. Morning speeches are happening. And then the presentation for the students of higher classes, that will happen. RDH examinations, everything happens normally as it is supposed to be. Now, the PT examination will happen. It will start from 15th July and it will be over on 23rd July. So you will be having your summer vacation from 28th of June to 14th of July. You will be having a shorter summer vacation, and the exams will begin on 15th July till 23rd July. The exam will be of 40 mark, and whatever syllabus has been allotted for PT1, it is there in your school diary. It is also in the Dieselite Connect in your mobile app. The whole thing is well given there. And then the whole syllabus that is meant for PT1, it will be part of the examination. So I request every student of class 10, 11, and 12, take good care of your study. Nothing will be omitted. Every inch and every part of it, teachers have been teaching you, and then everything shall be implemented to the best of the satisfaction of the students and to the board. And then I really would like to sincerely thank our teachers on this day. Why? Because our teachers, I should tell you from day one, they have performed themselves beyond my expectation. They have outlived practically even the students, I should tell you. Normally, we know as we grow up in life, we become a bit poor in using technology or getting ourselves adapted to technology. But then I was surprised to see the way our teachers adopted and adapted to the technology, and that too from one technology to another. And finally, they have started using the Zoom classes as well. And I should tell you, they have used and they have tried and tested each and everything that is available. And it is because of that we have the best of the classes happening through the YouTube to this day. And we are very happy to see that the students are actively participating in the classes. The class notes are given by the teachers, and then the homeworks are given back to the teachers by using WhatsApp, Google Forms, and Google Classrooms, and every bit of technology available is used by our teachers. So I really want to thank our teachers for taking that extra effort and ensuring that the best of the best available is given to the students. And also to you, dear parents, I want to really thank every one of you for making everything available to the students. You have spent your time, you have spent your money, every resource at your disposal, you have used to ensure that your children get the best that is available. And also to the students, that you have really lived up to the expectation. A vast number of you, I should say 95% of you, have really fully participated in the classes without a failure. Regularly, every day, you have been attending the classes, and I'm sure because of that, we will have no issues when the board examination comes, because we are more than prepared. Even if the exam happens in the month of February or in the month of December or January, I'm sure we are more than prepared for it. So my congratulations to each and every one of you, parents, teachers, and students. Please keep going. Take your studies seriously, as I told you. Don't leave out anything. And class 11 and 12 is important. It's a new beginning, and it is very important for you. For the students of class 11, please be sure that you don't have the luxury of the class 12 students, because class 11 students, by December, I am sure a vaccine will be out. And because of that, classes will be, everything shall happen normally as it used to be. So please ensure that, from day one onwards, cooperate with the teachers as it is done today. Go ahead. And to the parents, we will be having the Zoom classes, live classes from now on. That is going to be the normal thing. And I'm sure students are having a smartphone, or they might be having a laptop or a tab. Please ensure that they have it, so that the classes and everything will be going naturally and as usual. In case you have any doubts or clarification, you can mail me, and then you can visit the school. You can contact your class teachers or the coordinators, and every concern that you have, it will be taken care of. So once again, thank you so much. God bless you. Continue with your studies, and stay safe and stay in. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for all the information that you shared with all the parents. And I would like to end this session today, this PTM, with a short prayer anthem, school anthem. So Arif sir, kindly please play the school anthem. And I would request all the parents to rise for the anthem.
Champion of God's kingdom, you are the source of true wisdom. You are the champion of God's kingdom, you are the source of true wisdom. Christ, you are the radiance of dispel lights, dispel the shades of avidya, dispel the shades of avidya. Sagamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya, Om Safa Safa true love, Christ and wisdom. This world time your vision and mission. This world time your vision and mission. Asato masa gamaya, tamasoma jyoti gamaya, mrityo amritam gamaya. Om Safas Jaya Jaya He. Om Safas Jaya Jaya He.
Thank you, parents. Have a good night. Thank you.